3, 2, 1, action, Dan.
I'm Dan Richardson, an actor and filmmaker.
Oh, flip. I left the lens cap on. Go on, keep going.
This is my friend and colleague Giles Alderson. He's also a filmmaker and a professional film director. Let's go again.
Keep going. Keep going. I got it. Yeah.
I
can cut around it. Keep going.
My purpose in life is animal welfare and conservation.
Yeah.
I'm a very proud patron of 11 animal charities, and Giles and I decided to get our heads together and use all of our expertise to create a unique film experience.
Yeah, ignore me, pretend I'm not here, no one can see it.
A cinematic documentary that would take us around the world, meeting individuals who were willing to share their story with us.
Very nice.
So join us on this journey.
Oh no, just do that again for me 1 second. 1 second, headphones, and go for it.
So join us on this journey.
1, 2, 1, 2. Sorry, start again.
I'm Dan Richardson.
No, just the end bit.
So join us on this journey. So join us on this journey as we explore the driving forces behind the global vegan phenomenon.
Oh, we're not going to get it much better than that, are we? Okay, cool. And that is that scene wrapped. And action. Cut.
Joking aside, we really are filmmakers. There's Giles directing one of his films. And here are a couple of moments from a film I made during lockdown. Animal welfare and conservation really are a priority in my life. I make it my business to stand up and speak out for animals whenever I can. But what inspired us to make this film is the quite recent and sudden growth of the vegan movement. Go into any restaurant or supermarket and it's very clear to see demand for vegan options has increased dramatically, and we wanted to find out why. So, as well as a group of participants taking part in our very own vegan experiment, we wanted to meet people who are already on that path and find out what inspired them to start their vegan journey.
Factory farming every year wastes enough food to feed an extra 4 billion people on the planet.
What if we could be the generation that separates meat from animals?
All vegan, all organic, and local. We think that this idea really has potential.
Maybe you're concerned about the environmental impacts of our food systems. Or perhaps you want to explore the implications to your personal health. Or like us, you might just love the animals and want to protect them. You know, we went into this process of making the film. We had a message we wanted to talk about.
Yeah.
The key underlying principles of this film has been to be non-judgmental, not to be preachy. We'll lose the key audience before we even start. Mm-hmm. I was that guy, right?
Wow,
you were vegan before me.
Mm-hmm.
And I went vegetarian very briefly. And I remember telling you proudly I was vegetarian, and you said, you know, you're going to have to go vegan soon enough, don't you? And I was like, yeah, I have to go to the gym. I'm not going to do that.
Look at you now. But I remember that moment, and I remember you almost had this wall which comes up with, I think a lot of people come up with, oh, I can't do that, oh, I'm doing vegetarian, I'm doing my bit. But yet you were having photos with animals. You were doing talks about animals, you were going do marches.
And then ordering a chicken sandwich.
And then ordering a chicken sandwich, or at least a cheese sandwich. But I think you called me up later that night, or certainly the next day, and went, I've gone vegan, I'm doing it. Okay, this is take 2 actually with sound this time.
Yeah, I mean, so essentially it's take 1.
Yeah. Essentially, yeah.
You pretty much know everybody in the animal welfare, animal conservation, vegan movement in Los Angeles.
I play in a metal band from South America.
I used to make money, now I lose it efficiently in the nonprofit world, trying to make the world a better place.
Like, I got thrown out of school for being a vegetarian. It was really strange.
They started to see the differences in me, and they started to see, they're like, oh, he's not dying.
The organizations, the activists are really trying here in this country to make a positive thing, not the aggressive or radical.
The idea how much resources get wasted and allocated for meat production is just mind-blowing. Nobody would imagine that.
If you're an idealist in a perfect world in the future, people will look back with amazement. There was such a thing as animal farms where people actually manufactured meat, like slavery, if you like. It's hard for people today to comprehend that there were people in chains working in the fields.
I had a very negative lifestyle in many different ways. I was eating 500 grams of animal protein a day, 42 pints of milk a week, 10 kilos of chicken breasts a week. I just thought to myself, I've got away with this for now, but this is not sustainable. And luckily, I was clever enough to do something about it.
So you only eat plants?
Yeah, and it's been nothing but a boost to my sports performance, more energy, better recovery.
It was about a month in from going plant-based fully that I felt so much more alive. I could do more, I had more energy. And also the fact I knew I was doing something good. I was doing something good for the planet, the environment, and animals. Honestly, I felt incredible.
So on that, do you know that you're not incredible? Sorry. So what I decided would be really easy, really quick, just an experiment, would be what was originally in our minds, the vegan experiment, where I thought we would just have a group of people, as many as possible, try the vegan diet for a 30-day period and let us know how it was.
Hi, Dan and Giles. It's introduction time.
Hi, I'm Chloe Swift from Wiltshire.
My name is Jim Chapman.
Hi, my name's Olivia.
My name's Harry.
My name is Antonia.
My name's Sally.
My name's Jane McDowell.
My name is Nina Christopherson.
I am Jack.
Julian Seeger.
Faith Warner.
Simon Evans.
And I'm going vegan for a month as of tomorrow.
I'm doing the 30-day vegan challenge.
I rather like meat. A lot. Whenever possible. Cheese is my second favourite thing. So it's going to be a challenge.
I know all the harm that the meat industry does to the planet, yet I'm not really doing my part in acting on it.
This is a very exciting project and I'm very happy to be involved.
At least 2 out of my 3 meals a day will have meat in them, so I'm fully expecting this to be very, very difficult.
I have been vegetarian for 40 years, so this should be easy for me, but it's actually really hard because I'm a bit of a lazy vegetarian.
We are carnivores, or were carnivores. I am also diabetic, so I'm very interested to see what the vegan diet will do to that.
I know I'm going to feel better, so I'm told energy is going to go right up the roof.
I do quite like cheese, although I could live without it. For me, the hardest thing is going to be milk in tea. I'm not expecting this experiment to be easy, but I would say certainly a lot easier than it probably would have been 6 months ago.
I thought if I can make a difference to protect the animals, the environment, and also my health, it seemed like the right thing to be doing.
I think I'm going to have some withdrawal symptoms, but I will keep you posted every day on how I'm doing.
All right then, I'm going to make some coffee and then Giles and I are going to have a chat, see if we can figure out how to make this documentary cinematic.
I said tea. I've got a question for you. Why did you start liking animals in the first place? What made you go, I like them enough to start standing on podiums talking about them, to go on marches, to become Dan Richardson, Born Free ambassador?
I think it was a lot to do with my dad. My dad was a real animal lover and he brought my brother and I up, along with my mum, to have a great respect for and love for animals and nature. And I think another part of it is the fact that it's just that whole thing of supporting the underdog. And animals, by default, in this world, are always the underdog. Mm-hmm. There's not a species that gets a good deal out of being on a planet with human beings.
No. Dan, a little behind the scenes, tell us why, not that you're packing up, but why we're doing the documentary. Give us a soundbite.
A lot of reasons why, but the main reason is save some animals.
For a minute there, I thought you were going to say, no, in the documentary we're going to save all the animals.
Oh, let's do that too. That's not what I meant, but let's do that too. Yeah, that's it. Croatia, here we come.
We should do that, by the way.
What?
Rescue an animal, actually, in the doc.
I'm in. I'd do it. I mean, seriously, I don't mind. Let's do it. Why wouldn't we?
I mean, why wouldn't we?
Well, exactly. So, let's go.
I'm just going to call some farmer friends.
Our
visit to Croatia and all the wonderful people we met there was really only possible thanks to the kindness and superhuman organisational skills of Marina from Planetopia. This is Zega Vega in Zagreb, Croatia. Every year, tens of thousands of people visit this vegan festival, with over 100 exhibitors selling healthy vegan food and ecologically sustainable products.
I mean, the size and scale of this thing, this would be impressive in London or Los Angeles, and it's incredibly encouraging how big it is, and how many stalls, how many products, how many people are visiting. It's going to be a good couple of days.
Pixie trucks and broccoli.
While in Zagreb, we met Mislav, a personal trainer and vegan bodybuilder. We hoped that he might help dispel the myth of all vegans being anemic waifs.
I turned vegan about 3 years ago. My body is a real conversation starter. People like go in the gym, see me all pumped up, and they're asking me, how can you do it? How can you do it without meat?
You didn't see any difference in your physique?
No, I was actually competing in bodybuilding when I was eating meat. I was competing when I was a vegetarian. Today I'm vegan, and I don't see really any difference when I transitioned. Yeah. When I was competing, I was spreading all the content of my journey to the competition. Today they come and say, you have built your own muscle when you were like a meat eater, and you're like, you're faking it today, you know. Do it without meat today, you know. So I actually did it. I started eating messy. I stopped training. I got all chubby. Well, I was enjoying it, though, you know. I had to try all those recipes, man, from tofu, tempeh, seitan, you know.
Sure.
In 4 months, I went from 20% body fat to 8% body fat, and even gained some muscle in the process.
On a vegan diet?
Yeah.
Do you find that you have more clients who are willing to consider a vegan diet these days?
Well, actually, when they see me, when they talk with me, they kind of try it out. A guy came to me, a really buff guy, and said, oh man, I have to tell you something. What? Like, I'm eating meat only 3 times a week, man. Like, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So for me, that's a big improvement.
That's great. Igor and Katerina, I like your office. What do you guys do in the mountains? What's all this about?
We do trail running, so that's technically anything above marathon distance, which starts from 50K all the way up to, let's say, 200 miles. There's a lot of ascent and descent, like the mountain races.
Very
so
technical
it's
terrain.
Really?
Just imagine running in the Alps.
I understand that in the ultra marathon or ultra trail running, there's a proportionally high number of vegans.
Among the elites, it's a normal thing. It's not like when you go to, let's say, MMA or something, you're weird. But in running, it's natural.
With that kind of endurance discipline, nutrition must be incredibly important.
The way we eat, which is vegan plant-based food, it allows your body to recover faster. It's more alkalizing. And when you recover faster, you can train more.
Right.
Like all the inflammations, it's much easier on the body. So the more natural, more raw foods and fresh foods you eat, it's easy for body to recover.
All right, let's see how things are going for the vegan participants.
Good afternoon, it's day 1 of veganism for me. At the time, I think it's like 1:30. And actually, I looked at my diary, I'm out and about quite a lot this month. So I feel like I'm going to be grabbing food as I go. A friend of mine, and also a vegan, has sent me an app to download, which basically gives you a list. It's called Happy Cow. You get a list of places around you in the area that do vegan food. So I feel like I'm on the up. It's going to be fine.
I'm going to start off today, pretty simple, with some maple and brown sugar instant oatmeal with a little bit of banana just chopped on top of that. 2 minutes. Choppity chop chop. Oh yeah. There you go.
I'm pretty sure that the sort of first part of this challenge is going to be the hardest bit, because it really is all about the preparation and knowing what you can and can't have. So I've been out to the shops, checked these out. So this is gyros, and they'll be perfect in sort of fajita wraps, dairy-free sort of ranges of cheese. Suitable for vegetarians and vegans, dairy-free butter.
Hi, my name's Tony Lorenz. I am doing the vegan challenge because I got conned by the wife one night. I am a chef. I love eating meat. I love cooking meat. It's going to be hard and interesting.
This is Malix. This is Ninja.
Come on. And then we found a samosa that was vegan, which was quite difficult.
That was a pre-gym snack. That was a loss.
Finding something in the supermarket was challenging to eat. And we've got some more of that shawarma stuff.
Which is good because I did have my first craving actually today. A vegan shawarma kebab.
Lunchtime, and I think Leon is the place to be. They've got quite an extensive vegan menu. So here is my vegan burger, which looks pretty good actually. I can also report that my friend very much liked her vegan Jaffa cake.
I think one of the hardest things about this challenge is learning how to navigate social situations where, say, you're at a dinner party or you're being served food at a family's house and you can't really eat what you're given or what they're eating. We'll see what happens. So tonight my family's having scallops and shrimp.
Yeah, but you can't have any.
Nope, you can't have any, sorry.
We went to a vegan barbecue hosted by a friend. And I sat in his garden with his gorgeous rescue dog, surrounded by all these new vegan friends. The barbecue was going, covered in all kinds of vegan burgers and sausages, and I just thought, this is the world I want to live in. And the food was delicious.
Planetopia is part of a wider group of companies which includes partner Macronova, and Macronova pioneers healthy, natural and sustainable lifestyles. And Marina took us to see them.
Cooking gives you lots of opportunity to be creative.
So tell me about the classes you guys teach here.
We say, okay, we give you idea with the recipe and, with what you see here, but play with the food, choose your own ingredients. But we try to go to individual level because we think that it's really something very important. A healthy individual is a prerequisite for a healthy planet. Not just plant-based, but that is wholesome, that is organically grown, adjust their food to seasonal changes, to their individual needs.
How important do you think something like Zega Vega Festival is in that regard?
Very, very important. All our business group is present, so Macronova with the education, Planetopia with the book, then Bio with organic products.
So it's all part of the same group, everything you're describing?
Yes. This is kuzu powder, the best food you will eat today.
Really?
At least today.
Oh my gosh, this looks amazing.
It's just a little something I threw together, Have you got any ketchup? Bio Vega is a great example of an end-to-end industry that's vegan, organic and local. And we figured it made sense to come to where the process begins, the source of production, Zerno Farm. This is a beautiful area we're getting into.
This is now the village.
Right.
Where the farm is. Yeah.
Great.
Okay.
Well, that's good news.
We are here.
Doubled in 7 years.
Oops. Hello. He's the oldest.
Hello.
And she's the youngest.
Hey.
So welcome to the Zerno Farm. We run a pretty diverse operation here. The farm itself is about 20 hectares of land area. We have agriculture, meaning vegetable and grain production. We have the bakery. We have the processing aspect, creation preserved pickles and spreads and stuff like that. And then we have a farm-to-table restaurant in Zagreb. Every product across those 4 branches of production has the same criteria. So vegan, organic, and local. There's this vision today of, growing food locally for the local community. And we think that this idea really has potential, and we're trying to build on that as much as we can.
How does it make you feel to be part of that?
It's fulfilling personally. Like I'm fulfilled by the project because it's great to, have people come up to the stand and just sort of really truly honestly appreciate the effort that goes into these products, you know. That's very motivating as well.
I'm sure.
It's a beautiful thing.
It's incredible to think that you started this, as you say, 30 years ago, and it right now seems to be a trend that's growing so rapidly and becoming so much more mainstream.
I love that, you know, this is what you've grown on your farm, and from that,
it's amazing.
You're now serving it in the restaurant. It's just wonderful.
Yeah. It's you know, it's the part of the farm to table concept that's so popular right now.
Feel free to have a sweet potato fry if you want.
I'm not gonna say no. Yeah.
It's literally the end result of what we saw earlier on, what we were eating earlier. So the peppers and the eggplant that's in there, we saw them growing in the fields today where we've just been.
Yeah, just pretend you're normal, Dan. Just act normal. Ready?
So.
It's like a well-oiled engine.
Right now we're heading to see the CEO of Compassion in World Farming, Philip Limbury, who's a man whose CV makes some pretty impressive reading. He has made some massive changes over the years, and I mean 20 years worth of legislative changes, regulatory changes, and things that essentially amount to animals being in better conditions in farms, not just here in the UK, but also in all over Europe and I believe the world. Hello!
How are you?
Good, how are you, my friend?
Really good to see you.
What would the world look like if everyone did go vegan?
If the world moved entirely away from meat and livestock products, then we would need a fraction of the resources we currently need to feed ourselves. Why is that a big deal? Well, because nearly half of the entire usable land surface of the planet is producing our food. And of that, meat and dairy uses more than 80%. And we're thinking that that's a good deal, when actually meat and dairy produces about 18% of the calories and about a third of humanity's protein. So what that begs is the question, where do we get our protein from? Well, the majority of it comes from plants.
Oh, look, we've got cows. Perfect.
Ah, the cows have walked. They go back and forth across the river, you see, so sometimes they're here.
They're the real stars of the show.
They are. I haven't eaten meat since I was 17, which is, you know, a couple of years ago now. But I still love the taste and the texture, which is why I like plant-based meats.
The alternatives.
The alternatives that are now, you know, really coming strong in terms of innovation. It's clean meat without the environmental degradation. And it means that these guys don't have to be killed for it.
And these guys are very, very lovely. I mean, look at this kind of interaction. They're just so sweet and curious. Hi.
Well, that's it. And that was one of the big campaigns that I was first involved in at Compassion in World Farming when I started in the early 90s. And it was a campaign to get animals recognised as sentient beings. We won that battle. We got legal recognition across all of Europe in the 90s. Now what we really need is for that legal recognition to mean a bit more than it currently does, for people to take it seriously. Duke's Pals.
Gorgeous.
This is a rotational grazing farm. They go up and down the river valley here, which is good for the grass, it's good for the environment, and it's good for them. You get some farms, and sadly it's increasingly the case, where these cattle would never see the light of day. They'd be crammed inside, maybe in much bigger numbers, hundreds, perhaps thousands. And instead of eating the grass, which is what nature intended them to eat, they'd be fed grain.
Right.
That's where agriculture goes wrong. It starts to turn animals into machines and starts to waste food. I think it's priceless, absolutely priceless, for people to actually have face time with animals like these cows. To see that they do have personalities, that they will try and lick you, that they will try and interact with you. These guys want to be in the shade. They also want to be in our presence.
Yeah, how much resources get wasted and allocated for meat production is just mind-blowing. Nobody would imagine that 150 billion animals being killed every year. 3/4 of the water consumption in the USA is used for cattle. It's maybe the first point. And then also to invest into making replacements for meat more accessible.
You're respected as a businessman and as an inventor of this incredible vehicle that you guys are creating. What kind of responses do you get? What kind of reactions do you get from people when you talk about vegan and vegetarianism over the cars and the business side of your life?
It's very disappointing sometimes. You'll get, I think the right word is ridiculed, like people laugh
Ridiculed,
at you.
yeah.
Then you have different angles, like, religious people say God created the animals for us to eat them. That's an easy excuse. Somebody else decided this way. We are just, respecting God's will.
Unless it's a different God who says you mustn't eat that animal.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But in reality, driving an electric car has a incredibly smaller impact on the world than just reducing the meat consumption. So I speak often at events for the industry and for the leaders of the industry and so on. There's so much money and so much intellectual power being poured into making cars less polluting the planet. But it's so small and so incremental. If just a fraction of that would be invested into making people understand the impacts of their choices when it comes to diet, it would have a much bigger impact and much easier, because you just have to change one habit and not change the whole industry.
I always thought that the pandemic, when it hit, I thought one of the first things that will happen is that human beings will review their relationship with animals. Like, for example, factory farming being a breeding ground for exactly the kind of virus that caused the pandemic, and have caused other, I don't know whether they're called pandemics, but bird flu and SARS.
Yeah, they're all pandemics.
And all of it derives from animals. So why wouldn't you, if it's not enough for someone to think about it from the animal's perspective, when it starts to affect us in the way that this has affected the whole world, including this film being about 2.5 years later than it was going to be, why wouldn't you review your relationship with animals if you benefit from doing so? It just seems to make perfect sense to me. But I don't think it's happened, has it?
It has not. We've come straight out of the pandemic and it's as if nothing really has changed.
Exactly.
We were very adamant, we're not going to show animal cruelty during this doc.
Yeah.
We're going to do this doc to show people, humans, about how it affected them. And
right.
If we're showing animals, we're showing them in the positive, wonderful environments they should be in, rather than showing them in this, because it turns people off. They go, I don't want to see that. And I was like that.
Me too. Oh, I've never watched it.
Slaughterhouse footage.
I've never watched it.
You've never watched any footage?
Well, no, I haven't. And the reason same as we've said, we don't want to ever put it into this film, because I don't feel that there's anything to be gained from doing that. I'm already engaged in the cause. I'm already an advocate of it, and I'm already dedicating my life to it.
It's fascinating that you say you haven't watched it, because I have. It was one of the reasons I went vegan, because I was seeing a lot of this on my social media. It was the time, like I say, 8 to 4 years ago, when a lot of this was around. It was pushed. And my missus would push, she'd go, watch this. I don't want to. But so I watched it. I watched a lot of it. And actually what it did do was, it just kept cementing it in my mind about why I'm doing it. Mm-hmm. And I think it would be really interesting to see you watch that, and to see your reaction might actually persuade them to go, do you know what, I need to think about my lifestyle too.
The general human response to that is, I don't want to see it. don't want to think about it, and then contribute to it happening.
Yes.
And that's the thing, that's the part that's significantly or sufficiently urgent to me that I will watch it.
I will say that I've eaten a lot more carbs than I usually would. I try to eat what I call clean, which obviously isn't that clean because you can't get any cleaner than being vegan, surely. But, you know, I usually have kind of a lot of greens, some source of protein, whether it be meat or not, and then, you know, some carbs. But yesterday, I had a wrap for breakfast, I had a burger for lunch, and then I had a pizza for dinner. When I actually kind of sort my life out a bit better, I'll be more prepared, and hopefully sort of my carb to protein ratio will adjust. You get loads of protein from like things like lentils, I know that, but I didn't eat lentils yesterday, I just ate bread and rice.
I did have tea with milk because I really don't like it with soya. So I think what I'm going to have to do is eliminate tea altogether. Antonia's, my daughter's being really encouraging. This evening she's making bolognese with vegan mince.
Hello. So I'm just cooking bolognese using this mince, and it's very high in protein. So I cannot wait to gobble this all up.
It's been over a week. Now doing another blog. Lost some weight since I've been doing it. I've tried food that I never thought I would try. Hopefully I can do the next 3 weeks without thinking of meat, eggs, burgers and bread. But I'm getting there.
Afternoon, Dan and Giles.
I still find, to be honest, the hardest thing is now being treated like I'm some sort of social outcast. I think it's the only way to describe it. It really does get to me, does that apologising almost for being a vegan all the time. And I shouldn't do that, but that's how I feel. But to be perfectly honest, I was a police officer for 17 years. And the words of an animal rights activist was something which in the police was frowned upon. And I wouldn't have been allowed to have anything to do with anybody who had those sort of thoughts.
I had my breakfast this morning. Still vegan. Had my breakfast this morning. Missed my mid-morning snack. Missed lunch. Jumped in the car on the way to a 3:00 meeting. Stopped at a petrol station. Spent 10 minutes checking the packet, the back of every packet. Really struggled and ended up with a falafel salad. Which, if I'm being honest, right then it was the last thing I wanted to eat. It was actually quite nice. Forgive me if I'm, the one that just doesn't understand this stuff and is surprised by the fact that a falafel salad can actually be nice, but I'm that guy.
Day 6.
How was your dinner?
Hey, how was your dinner?
My dinner was interesting.
Tell us about it.
Tell us about your dinner.
The dinner was very nice. I didn't know what to expect, and I didn't know what it was. No, I do know what it was. It was very nice. No,
What was it?
It was mince with potato, and it was chili.
Didn't notice anything unusual about the food?
What have you put in it?
It's what we haven't put in it.
Oh, right.
Because you just ate a vegan meal.
Yes.
A vegan meal?
Yes. So we invited our neighbour, Richard, who has eaten with us many times, over for a vegan meal. And he didn't notice that anything
I don't
was
like
different.
vegan meals.
Too late. You've got the evidence on
I'm
camera.
a real meat eater, I am.
He is a massive carnivore.
So I'm here at the curling club today. I got my veggie burger, and I actually brought my own veganese, which is vegan mayonnaise. And I gotta say, I like it more than regular mayonnaise. I think I'll be eating this for a long time.
I've been in South Africa with the Born Free Foundation, and I decided to stick around to learn about the vegan movement here. So I'm meeting my friend Linda, and together we're off to visit Ash's Farm Sanctuary.
Meat eating in South Africa is a cultural thing. The men like their steaks, the bigger the better. It's like, this is protein, this makes you stronger, you're not a man if you don't eat meat. It's just it's a stigma that's nobody's ever challenged it.
Who are you guys?
Ash's Farm Sanctuary, I guess.
the consequences of us being vegan, especially in our area, in our direct area where we are at the moment, we are a little bit ostracized. We are. Us being vegan is just, it's alien. It's aliens have moved in next door to these guys that have been farming their whole lives, and their fathers have been farming their whole lives with livestock.
You know what? More people should experience this. We'll change the world. We'll change their lives. Hey?
Does it feel any different to petting a dog when it comes down to it?
No, because they both got souls. And they've got the tenderness in their eyes. They've got a personality. I mean, look at this.
Earlier on, you were telling me about how things are quite progressive in Cape Town and Joburg now.
Yes, very much so.
How do you see that?
Well, Cape Town, specifically Cape Town, I'm from Cape Town myself. It's a big tourist hub. You've got all kinds of people from Germany, France, the Americas, you name it. And they obviously want vegan options. You've got all different kinds of business people coming here that also want those kind of foods. And as I said, I think they created a demand and Johannesburg and Cape Town kind of answer that.
We didn't realize that some of them were boys. So a lot of them have feminine names but actually need to be renamed.
So they've got an identity crisis.
Yeah.
So look how coordinated we are.
We're not really, are we? California, one of the global hypercenters of the vegan revolution. Pick a spot here in Los Angeles, throw a rock in any direction, and you will probably hit a vegan restaurant. We've come to catch up with my friend Katie Cleary, founder and president of World Animal News and charity Peace for Animals, and producer-director of documentaries including the award-winning Why on Earth. Katie lives and breathes animal rights, welfare, and conservation. Tell me about World Animal News.
It's a news network, kind of like BBC, CNN for animals. Highlights, important animal rescue, saving endangered species, rescuing farm animals, highlighting the vegan movement, really anything that pertains to animal welfare.
Obviously, one of the main reasons we find people considering vegan or going vegan or plant-based, whatever you want to call it, is because of the environment and climate. And in California, this past few months, you've had some of the most devastating and the worst wildfires in the history of wildfires, haven't you? I mean, it's been the worst you've ever had in this state.
It's the worst that we've ever had, and it has to do with climate change. On top of that, the flooding, the torrential downpour that we had after those intense fires. The direct link is the animal agriculture business.
While we're here on the beach, I think a lot of people feel like the emphasis and the focus is on reducing or cutting out meat, and that their obvious go-to alternative is fish.
Yeah.
What other impacts are being put on the ocean because of things like consumption of fish?
Yeah, people don't realize, the long line fishing and the ghost nets. Fish get entangled, not only fish, but dolphins, whales, porpoises. I mean, we're single-handedly cleaning out our oceans, and not only that, those nets run for miles and miles and miles in the ocean, and they pick up everything on the ocean floor. As you can see, look at all the trash. Look at everything that has just washed up. And this is just not even, a fraction of what's in the ocean as a result of humans throwing their garbage and not picking up after themselves.
Why do you think some people are not receptive to that message or not seeing it for what it is?
I think that we're so used to living in a certain way. And what we see every day, what we report on every day is some of the most horrific things that I've seen people do to this planet. And, it's kind of ironic because I'm seeing over here, as we're talking about this, people picking up plastic on the beach. And if more people did this, this world would be a different place.
Katie has set up a meeting for us with Ethan Brown, founder, CEO, and president of Beyond Meat, a company on a mission to positively affect growing global issues such as constraints on natural resources and animal welfare.
The future of protein. So this is the lab.
Yeah, so this is one of them. So this is actually the muscle structure in pork, right? So this is actually from an animal, right? And then this is Beyond sausage. And so you can see there are differences between the two, but I would argue those aren't sort of apples and oranges. They're two different types of oranges. And our goal is to get those two things to be exactly the same, right? And so what excites me about this so much is that it becomes apparent that this can be done, right? So we've been at this 10 years and it looks pretty similar, right? What's going to look like in a decade? You know, there's no material obstacle to us making this, to the human-centric experience, the exact same.
Tell me how this got started for you.
I was in energy for a long time. I was in alternative energy, working in the area of fuel cells. And that was for reasons of carbon emissions and climate change. But as you start to take a step back and you know, you look at your life and you say, well, am I working on the biggest problem, right? And the biggest problem wasn't transportation. It wasn't power plants. It was livestock. In terms of the emissions of livestock, clearing forests for livestock, the changes in the soil, all these things we know about now. And when I started to hear about all the heart disease, diabetes, and cancer, et cetera, that was related to high levels of animal protein consumption, I said, I'm going to make a change. And so I started to think about this question of, do you need the animal to produce a piece of meat? You know, we've been consuming animal protein, you know, since before we were Homo sapiens. And so there's a big head start. The basic idea is the animal is consuming vegetation and they're consuming water. And they're using their digestive tract and their muscular system to basically build muscle, and then we harvest that as meat. And what we're doing is starting with those same two inputs, water and vegetable matter, and we are running it through heating, cooling, and pressure. And that essentially restitches the protein in the form of muscle. It's not at a molecular level, but it's at a sensory level that you can't distinguish from, and that's where we're going. Like so from the human sensory, that's all we need to do, right? We don't need to be perfect replication. We need it to be the point where from the human sensory system, it's the exact same, and that's what we're headed to. It's one thing to use science technology to create a new product, but we have to always remember that food is really intimate, and that particularly we think about mothers, and we think about, you know, is mom going to be comfortable feeding her kids this product, right? And so if we're putting all kinds of strange GMO things in it or artificial things in it, that's really going to hurt us. And so we're very restrictive in what ingredients they're allowed to use. It has to be all natural. To the extent that we can, we rely on ingredients that are recognizable, like beets, for example, to do some of the color work we have. And as you start to mine the plant kingdom for ingredients that will deliver on the appearance and texture and aroma of animal protein, it's amazing what's out there. And so you don't need to use genetic modification to accomplish what we're accomplishing. And if we've done that, we've separated meat from animals. And then it's really up to the consumer to make that decision. And I think there'll be very few people who are like, well, no, it has to come from an animal, right? The vast majority will say, well, this is a better opportunity. It's a better option. Okay, so we're going to go in here and eat. Wow.
Oh my
God.
What?
All right. Yep.
Are you kidding me?
Are they cold? Is it cold?
No way. This is like heaven on a plate.
Get one of these each.
God. Dan's like, I don't have to eat for the rest of the week. Yeah. This is incredible.
I love this part. So no cholesterol, lower saturated fat, no carcinogens.
Wow.
I think for me, it's just, you know, this is one of the, there's certain pieces of meat that are, you know, kind of, it's not a luxury, but it's a comfort food in some sense. And so this and bacon are kind of that holy grail. And a great breakfast sausage just, you know, just brings home so much memory and sort of culture and everything else. And to be able to do it this way is a really big improvement.
I like this room.
It's time for breakfast. Filmmakers who haven't eaten, so offer to make them an omelet. We're doing it. The just egg, plant-based egg, absolutely incredible. It's all in the presentation.
What's the vegan egg made of?
I believe it's a mung, M-U-N-G bean is the primary ingredient behind it. We would add to that the Beyond sausage. And thank you, Ethan. I got a whole freezer full of these because there was a time when they were not available in the stores at all, hardly. So I stocked up and I'm still using up my supply. I used to make money. Now I lose it efficiently in the nonprofit world, trying to make the world a better place.
I love that.
As a young kid, I hated injustice and inefficiency, battling it my whole life. And initially, when I went into philanthropy, it was all human-based. Then, after going plant-based 10 years ago and eventually learning more and more statistics and how it can literally solve probably 70% of the world's problems, I'm obsessed now where, probably 80 to 90% of all the new projects I take on is trying to move the world to plant-based diets. People that sometimes get upset with me because I'm doing less on the human side now than I was doing, I point out to them that on the human trafficking side, there's about 30 to 35 million people being trafficked in the world at any point in time, which is a horrendous number. On the animal side, however, just on land-based animals, globally, it's 65 to 80 billion, at least, land-based animals a year that we're killing for food. That's more animals per year being killed for food, land-based, than the number of humans that have ever walked the planet. And we wonder why the planet's in crises, why human health is in crises. It's the most pressing need, the most suffering and the most need that needs immediate change.
Tell me, Derek, because I think it's one of the coolest answers I've ever heard. What do you do for a living?
I play in a metal band from South America. When I first came to Brazil 20 years ago, and I lived there for almost 18 years, where eating at a barbecue place is like the biggest thing. But it's much easier now. I mean, you can find in supermarkets, different products. I went to an island in the south of Brazil, and the supermarket was filled with vegan options, even vegan cheese. But I've noticed this in Brazil, that people are doing this not just for a trend or anything. It's just a fact of wanting to have a better life.
I got thrown out of school for being a vegetarian. It was really strange.
You got thrown out of school. Talk to me about that.
Yeah, I got suspended from home economics. Apparently I was disrupting the class by not bringing a bag of mincemeat in. I'm a touring musician, as is Derek. I grew up in a small town in Ireland. Derek grew up in a small town here. Both of us have toured third world countries and seeing the poverty level. But when you see it's so indulgent in these cities and that, and then you travel around the world, but at the same time, when you bring it right back and look at like the longest living cultures, the most basic, like it's fruit, grains, veggies. But people just are so brainwashed to these systems because it's addictive.
It's extremely
hugely addictive.
And I don't blame them. If you stop buying certain products, then they won't make it. If you start asking for certain products, they will make it.
What kind of response did you get from your circle of friends and family when you went vegan 7 years ago?
It wasn't widely accepted at first, 7 years ago when I started, but they started to see the differences in me, and they started to see, they're like, oh, he's not dying. That's all. I mean, seriously, they're like, when my father understands more now because now he's in his 70s and he wants to live. He's afraid of dying. When you're 65, 70, it's hard to change somebody at that age.
Very.
You've got to be a special human being at that point. That's why you have to, whatever way you can get in. It's like, you want to live? That pain that you have, you want it gone?
Yeah.
That's when they get to a point where they have no other options.
Yeah.
They're like, well, let me just give this a shot.
What would your advice be to somebody who understands that there's a benefit, who wants to do it for whatever reason, but who fears that peer pressure?
I think at a certain point you have to grow, as they say in my country, cojones. But I do believe now that things are changing. We're never going to be able to continue this kind of meat habit 100 years from now. So people are already starting to see that in a small sense is why a lot of people are turning vegan, or at least plant-based mostly, or even just changing 2 or 3 days of their, something, even if someone said, look, I'm going to go meatless Mondays. There's a massive savings in animals and all the damage that goes into raising cattle and all these other animals.
Hello! Today I'll be making a vegan burger in the Oh She Glows cookbook. I'm going to be doubling the recipe, making 16 burgers, so I don't have to think about it for the next bit of time. First step, mash the beans. Oats, peas, beans, and barley grow. Breadcrumbs. Sunflower seeds. This part isn't as fun. Cilantro. Oregano. Oats. Chile. Tamarind. Mine is vegan, right? I'm making balls. 16 burgers right in my hand. I got 16 burgers in my hand. Voila!
Got cooked a really, really nice dinner by two vegan friends last night, which was like Marmite Brussels sprouts, which were surprisingly nice, a vegan sausage, some onions, some broccoli, some beetroot, some salad, like all of this stuff chucked together, and it was delightful. And so I'm experiencing a whole new world out here.
Oh, my vegan friends, I have discovered something that has changed my veganhood. Here we have vegan cheese, which is very nice. OT McNumnums, which is also very nice. But it gets really interesting, and this is the game changer. Come to the closet with me. I have got a ton of these beautiful meals from a company called Planty, and they are basically kind of high-end ready meals. This one is a red Thai sweet potato curry. They're all vegan. They're gorgeous. You microwave them. They've basically made being vegan easy as anything. I am, eating healthier. I'm feeling better. It's quite frankly easier. Any vegans out there that want to be vegans, that want to try it, but can't be arsed with the faff of cooking lentils and all that shit, Planty's your way.
I've got figs, bananas, apples, and pear in this smoothie, just to give myself that kind of energy and boost overnight. I have to admit, I'm missing my eggs very much. I'm missing my cheese. I didn't really have that much. That was really outside of it, but I'm missing it all. So here goes. Have to admit, rather nice. Yeah, it'll do the trick for now.
Hi, it's day 22 of my vegan experiment. I haven't done a video for the past couple of days, so that's very naughty of me. However, I'm very pleased because I'm still on track and everything's going really well. Went on to my local curry house this evening with my son, and they excelled once again. They basically said that they will make stuff for me. It's just wonderful.
So this is a video of me sick of eating beans on toast for my tea because I'm still waiting on my delivery from the supermarket. It's Friday night. I am craving Friday night food. Come on, food. Come on, food. We can do this. Christmas has come early. Look at this. Never been so happy in my life. Look at this. Rock and roll.
Smashed avocado on toast really is an elite food. So I'm going to mash this up with some chili flakes and salt and pepper, have it with some toast, and reflect on how good I feel.
So today I went to get my flu jab and had an interesting chat with the guy giving the flu jab when he asked me if I was allergic to any chicken or egg products before injecting me. And then I suddenly went, well, hang on a minute. You're telling me that there's animal products in a flu jab? And he went, well, there could be. If you're vegan, you need to look at all of your tablets because a lot of the tablets have lactose or gelatin in, especially anything that has a capsule. All of the medicines we take contain animal products. It's crazy.
Speaking of health, on this journey, we've met people who feel they've derived enormous health benefits from going plant-based.
You, some time ago, had a scare.
I actually was diagnosed with bladder cancer.
That would be 12 years ago. The doctors, they said that I had a very short time left and I have to have immediate surgery. So I was convalescing with my cousins who are vegan. And when I came to understand if I wasn't eating meat, then the chances of the cancer recurring were almost impossible. So that's when I made the decision to become a vegan. And I haven't touched meat since.
And that was 12 years ago?
That was 12 years ago.
And if you don't mind me asking, how old are you now, Roy?
86.
And how's your health?
Never been better. I have much more energy than I had before. I have no medications. I have no heart trouble. I have no high blood pressure. I have no diabetes. I have nothing.
Claire, you have quite a story in terms of your own vegan journey. Can you tell me how it all started?
In November 2016, I was diagnosed with cancer. Luckily, or unluckily, it was only stage 1. I was obviously petrified and everyone was pushing the usual treatments on me. And I'm a single mother, so I didn't want my child to know I was sick. I wanted to be full of life. And started researching veganism. It was kind of a natural decision when I found out I had cancer that, okay, let's try this route. And I did. The first batch of test results was within first 6 months of my diagnosis, and there wasn't too much change. So it obviously took time because I wasn't fully vegan, and I stepped it up a notch and I went as full into it as I possibly could. And my cancer regressed.
What's the ultimate change that's taken place since you implemented the lifestyle changes that you did?
January this year, I was cleared completely. And I believe that is lifestyle choice.
Give me some examples of plant-based processed foods as well as oil, so things that people should avoid.
It's easier to say what to eat. It really is, because there's quite a small range of things, really. It's your legumes, so beans, chickpeas, split peas, lentils, vegetables, whole grains, fruits, little nuts and seeds, and your herbs and spices.
The first question that people ask you when you talk about being plant-based is, where do you get
I know what's coming. Where do I get my protein?
You clearly get it.
We've known for decades all whole plant foods contain all proteins. The only incomplete protein in the whole food chain is gelatin, which comes from animals. One way of eating is proven to prevent 14 of the 15 leading causes of death in the West. It can treat most of them, and it can reverse 5 or 6 of them, including killer number 1 heart disease. You know, there's a whole foods, plant-based diet, lower fat, high carbs. You know, in nature, what's naturally attainable? Fruits, legumes, tubers, they are the healing foods.
If I'm around the people which are from my yoga class, they're more understanding when it comes to veganism.
You're saying you feel yourself like almost you're going to cry when you talk about veganism.
Yes, because it means so much to me, and I don't know, it's just the emotion that gets me when I speak about it. I think about animals and what's happening to them every second in a day, and what horror are they going through. I cannot do this. I think every vegan's dream is to have a sanctuary for all of the animals, to just keep them safe and away from all of the horror that happens, because it's just not right. They deserve to live happy and freely, because this earth is for us, and we as humans are acting like we are in a charge here. Well, we aren't really, the nature is. We are not aware of it, I guess.
Right. So where are we going, Sam?
Worcestershire. Actually, Shropshire. All this time I've been saying Worcestershire. We're going to the Good Heart Animal Sanctuary.
Yeah.
We've postponed this, I think, twice already until late now. And the reason for that was the weather. So we left it to the end of May. Because, of course, by the end of May, you're going to have some decent weather, aren't you? It's only a 96% chance of rain, though. We're all right.
96% is fine?
Yeah. There's a 4% chance we won't get rain all day long.
To the beach. Cool.
All right.
And they said they'd left some vegan things in the fridge. Whoa, hello. Oh, I thought it was an Easter egg. It's just a giant avocado.
It's a headless avocado.
Dan?
Yes.
It's set up.
So what am I supposed to do?
It's set, so all you got to do is press the play button with the mask. But put your headphones on. How you feeling first?
I don't know. Do I just watch it?
Yeah.
Is there sound on it?
Yeah, there's sound. Ready?
No.
What you seeing?
Bullets. And all kinds of the implements they use to kill them, I guess. I haven't seen anything of the animals yet.
What kind of implements? What did they look like?
There I'm seeing a little piglet. They look like methods of torture. And how people are capable of doing this to living creatures. Now they're electrocuting them. I can't say what it is, mate, because if people saw that, half the world would go vegan overnight. You can't make them watch it. Oh my God.
Come on. Dan. I'm sorry, Dan.
And I have to tell you, you were right, because I think I was deluded. And that's the whole point, that's the whole system. It's designed to make you not believe that could be possible. And even though I'm involved in what I'm involved in, I didn't believe that could be that bad. And it's endlessly, in every millisecond it's happening. It's always the eyes, they get me every time. Oh God, you guys are amazing. We saw you as Egger Beggar. Mm-hmm. You were doing some amazing work. You were doing the Cube of Truth. Mm-hmm. And tell me about your activism.
I try to find ways to inspire them. to just go for it. So the cube of truth is one way, because people are passively holding laptops with masks. Nobody knows who is behind that. So some people feel comfortable there. I've been into activism my whole life. I started in elementary school. And I've been pretty much everywhere, and I simply share what I've learned and my experience. So when I started, activism was very aggressive. We were standing with banners on the street, screaming. There was ALF, the Animal Liberation Front, destroying property to stop companies from testing on animals or using animals in either way. So it was a very violent, a very aggressive movement. And this is how we became popular back then, because people saw what we were doing. It was our way to come out, to be visible. I think in the last 10 years, the movement has moved towards more really communicating to our audience, because first it was about being heard. Now everybody knows about an animal rights movement. Everybody has heard about veganism. So now actually we have to talk to these people, reach out. And I think the only way is nonviolent communication. If you communicate with people, do not attack, don't be aggressive, but communicate in a way that they understand you and that they actually say, okay, man, you could be right, you know. Or even if they don't agree with you, at least when they walk off, they think like, oh, that was a nice person.
Right.
Because they keep activists and veganism in a positive picture.
While in Zagreb, Anita arranged for us to meet Aaron Ross. He's from the Humane League, a charity on a mission to end the abuse of animals raised for food.
The Humane League operates a global coalition of groups who all come together under a unified mission. We provide resources to groups that are our members, and we provide training and funding, pressuring these major corporations to make these changes for animals.
Is it possible to say how many you find are receptive to that and how many are resistant to it?
The ones that are behind, we launch these massive public efforts against them, these massive campaigns, targeting their brands and associating them with extreme animal cruelty. And then we also show that to other companies. So then they get the idea that, they could be in line if they're not going to adopt these animal welfare policies, then they're going to be on the chopping block.
Do you feel that the consumers who are purchasing these products from the corporations you're referring to, if they knew this was happening, they wouldn't be purchasing those products in a lot of cases? So it makes perfect sense for these people to make the changes you're requesting.
Oh, hands down. Every time we show these issues to the public is extremely sympathetic. Every time we show them pictures of hens being crammed in cages, most people aren't aware that that's where their food is coming from, right, and they're immediately repulsed.
How important do you see the next generations as being to this whole movement?
Whether they're fully vegan or not, they're eating vegan. They're friends with vegans. So their family, somebody in their family is vegan. This is becoming really part of society, really on a global level. I mean, I travel quite a lot, and I really see this in basically every country that I go to.
Hello, mate.
Hey, mate, all right?
I'm great. How are you?
Good. Have you got your camera rolling for me?
Oh, hang on. It's on. It's rolling right now.
Good. You said that we wanted to rescue an animal in the documentary.
Yeah. You've not. Have you got one?
I've got two, mate.
No way.
Yeah, two.
Two what?
Two little piglets.
Piglets. Oh my God. Oh mate. Yes. Okay. Brilliant. What do we do?
We need to probably get them, but the only issue is where do we put them? Now, I imagine you're going to tell me your garden isn't big enough.
Let me make a couple of phone calls and I'll give you a shout back. Mate, say yes though. Say yes. 100% yes, and we'll make it happen.
I've already said yes.
Good lad. All right.
Nice one, mate.
Nice
See
one.
you later.
See you later.
Bye.
Hello?
Dave, hello mate, it's Dan Richardson. How are you?
Hi Dan, yes, I'm good, thank you.
I need to ask you if you guys at Goodheart happen to have space for a couple of piglets.
You are very lucky actually, because space has just become available for a couple of extras.
We want to cover the cost of getting them to you.
It's just going to be a matter of crossing some T's and dotting some I's, and whenever you can bring them over.
Oh, wonderful. Okay mate, look, I'm going to get straight onto it and we'll see you as soon as possible. Thank you so much.
Super,
all right.
Goodbye.
Cheers Dave, bye.
In this beautiful Airbnb, waiting for Dan to arrive, and I think I hear him coming up the drive now. There he is.
Let's go meet him. Look at this place, right?
Look at this. How you doing, son?
I'm alright.
Good to see you.
Good to see you.
Where am I? Are they over there with the sheepage?
No, they are not here yet. We've got to go.
Here?
We're going to get them.
When?
Tomorrow morning. So tonight we can relax and have fun.
How am I supposed to relax?
Because...
Give me my piggies.
Hello, mate. Wait, piggies, how beautiful.
Look at those little fellas over there.
Yeah?
Oh, do we look happy?
One of us does. So, how do you feel at the moment now? 4 years being vegan?
No, mate, nearly 6. So in a way it makes me feel proud, but in a way it makes me feel a little bit sad, because you think, wouldn't it be nice if it wasn't considered an achievement to stop killing little babies like that? Let's go get him.
So where are we heading now?
We're on our way to a secret location that we probably shouldn't disclose, right?
No, we shouldn't.
But
what are we doing there?
When we get there is we are picking up 2 little rescue piglets, or 2 little piglets that need rescuing. What I'm curious about is how big they are.
Yes.
Well, it's nice to get involved, isn't it? It's nice to be directly involved.
Because normally we see it from the outside, or we're sponsoring something, or we're doing something online, and to actually be doing it yourself is kind of cool.
Yeah, exactly. I'm excited to meet them.
So she said by the gate.
This one?
This one, yeah.
Oh, so we park and walk, do we?
Well, we ain't driving down there. She said unless you got a 4x4, to be fair.
Knew it.
You. Alright.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Nice spot.
Hi.
Hey. Are we in the right place? That's us.
Yeah, that's right.
How you doing? You too. Thank you so much for this. This is Giles. Are you alright with us filming?
Yeah, but if you don't get my face in it, that would be...
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, God, look!
Here we are.
Oh, hello. Oh, you cuties. Come say hi. Hi.
2 little girls.
Are they both little girls?
Yeah.
How old are they?
They're about 11 weeks.
11 weeks. Just look at how cute they are. Those noises.
You do have transport then, yes?
Yeah. Yeah, we've got transport.
Yeah.
All right, let's go.
Excellent.
Do not pee on my seats.
Transporting piggies in your Tesla.
is it for them, Daisy and Darla. That's home, forever. Safe. They will not become bacon sandwiches.
What are you doing?
If you're familiar with the film Apollo 13, where the astronauts found themselves in desperate trouble, great peril, all closer to the moon than they were to Earth, and they didn't have enough oxygen to last. In many, many ways, this is similar. This will probably go down in history. No?
Good morning. I just wanted to give you an update on my vegan challenge. It's now just over 3 weeks since I started the challenge. I'm so enjoying it. I can't tell you how much I've been enjoying cooking, and I feel a lot better in myself, my own kind of well-being, lots more energy. And remarkably, I have gone down a jean size and lost 2 inches off my waist. So definitely continuing it.
So today I was driving down the road and I saw a big truck probably carrying pigs or chickens off to a farm somewhere. And I was just thinking like how upset people would be if that truck had been carrying, cats or dogs off to a farm to go get slaughtered or whatever. People would be protesting and fighting over it, but because, we've dubbed cows and chickens food and not cats and dogs, people definitely feel differently about it. So yeah, just some more food for thought.
We're on our final week of this vegan challenge. I can honestly say it's changed me. The other day I was at work sorting stuff out. One of them were cooking meat and preparing meat for the night time, and it smelt absolutely disgusting. Blood and the flesh cooking did not smell very nice. It's changed me in ways that I didn't think anything like this could change me. Going to say I'm going to turn completely vegan, but I will change my lifestyle to accommodate veganism in my life. That's for sure.
Morning, Dan and Giles. I think the experiment may well be over now. If I have made it, that's fantastic. I'm sticking at it forever now. And because, it suddenly dawned on me that the biggest sacrifice I've made, to be truly honest, is not having milky coffee anymore and tea, because I can't abide either of them without real cow's milking. And if you think that the calf has to go without its mum and the mum has to have its baby taken away from it at birth and then put straight back into milking when she's extremely engorged, possibly with mastitis, and I've seen what they do to get the cusps on, and it ain't pretty. It's a very small sacrifice to make.
I've lost all interest in meat products, so very clever. Dan and Giles, like it. So you knew that would happen, didn't you, really? And yeah, overall, feeling fit and healthy, and just enjoying it. Enjoying the eating more veg, because we were guilty of sometimes just being very busy people of eating junk food. And that's it. End of my day. I'm looking forward to my meal. I'll be eating very, very shortly. Thank you.
So I just wanted to share my experience of attending my first ever Animal Rights March this weekend. It was truly an amazing, magical experience to be surrounded by thousands of compassionate, brave, loud, fearless, determined people who want to make a difference to the well-being of animals. And it made me feel happy that not only have I expanded my awareness and my compassion and my taste buds, but I've also expanded my tribe, and feel so grateful to have such new, wonderful people in my life. because I chose to go vegan.
It's definitely had a big impact on me. I'm aware of my impact on the environment and on the lives of animals. And even though I'm trying my best to be better to the environment anyway in the rest of my life, you know, I can have green power going to my house and I can drive electric and I can stop using as much plastic as I can. But one of the biggest polluters in our daily lives on the planet is the meat industry. And it's very hypocritical of me to continue the way I was doing prior to this month. So give it a go. It's actually quite rewarding. It's a learning curve, but quite an enjoyable one.
So we are heading where, Dan?
Back to Good Heart to see our little rescue piglets.
How long's it been?
How long has it been? A couple of months?
Yeah, 3 maybe at the most.
3 months?
Yeah.
2-3 months.
We've been told they're going to be pretty damn big.
We've been told they wouldn't any longer fit in this car.
Which is good.
We'll try.
We've got someone else in there.
So we will of course try getting the piglets in the car.
Indeed.
Take them home.
Yeah.
No, it'd be good to see them. And of course we'll already know that they're well looked after because they're at Good Heart. So yeah, can't wait to see them. Hey. Hello. Good. How are you?
I'm good, Tom.
We visit
Want to go and see the piglets?
Oh God, we'd
well,
love
you say
to.
piglets.
Really? No, this is the pig habitat here, isn't it?
Yes. So this is our pig woods then that we've got up here. So they're in one of our enclosures up here. So obviously they've got like just huge amounts of space. You can see the ground is very uneven because they spend so much time digging it up and rooting around. They've got all these logs to play with.
Oh, hello.
Here are the piglets.
Oh, hello.
Oh, they're absolutely fantastic.
Hi. You're a lot braver than you were before.
Oh, and that's the amazing thing as well. They have become so confident.
Oh, good Lord, look at this.
Really lovely.
Do you remember how timid they were when we were stroking them? Yeah. And flinching and stuff. Look at you.
Really come out of their shell.
Hi. Oh, those eyes.
She agreed.
You having a little chit chat with yourself? You know, I just feel so happy to see them like in this situation, you know, because if you think about the alternative that they face, I mean, this is almost like a little staged fairy tale, isn't it? Like the long grass and the thistles and they're just like milling about, having a wonderful time, being pigs. And when do you ever see pigs like this? Oh, look at that. Look at that. Our participants have minimised their impact on animals for a month, and we thought it would be interesting to introduce them to some rescued farm animals. So we brought them to the Good Heart Sanctuary open weekend.
Are you inspecting us? Do we have any food? And Daisy?
Daisy and Darla, yeah.
I didn't realise how easy it'd be, so I started as a 30-day challenge, and then you just become more inclined to educate yourself, do things like this today, and just understand why other people are vegan.
Yum yum. Sticking with it just meant that I had much better payoff.
Fully committing to the vegan lifestyle really enabled me to put my money where my mouth was. Just the word that comes to mind is lighter, and like I had a lighter footprint on the earth.
I mean, I did grow up eating meat and dairy, and in my naivety and ignorance thought, you know, milk and eggs and cheese were fine because the animals didn't die. Obviously, I know different.
Coming here today, seeing all the animals, I was expecting quite a surface level, you know, emotionally experience, but it wasn't. It was pretty eye-opening and at times quite emotional. And coming into this, I thought vegan was not normal. because, you know, it's only a small minority of the population. But now it's like anyone that eats any meat, I'm like, you need your head checking.
It allowed me to connect with the animals in a completely different way that I never anticipated. Just to have that moment, the moment of stillness with each one. It was just beautiful.
Magical, special, wonderful, just like paradise. It's like heaven for me.
Really?
To be, seriously, it really, really is.
To be here at Good Heart and see them so healthy, see them surrounded by people that care about them so much, and to have the literal honour of being able to interact with them and touch them and feel that they feel safe enough here that they trust you, a complete stranger. I don't want the day to end, really. I would like to live here. I'd happily live in a barn.
I never see myself reverting. Probably not, no. I don't see the benefit. Part of my education was, you know, watching various documentaries and reading books and stuff about athletes that are vegans. Don't get me wrong, I'm not an athlete, but I can definitely feel the benefits on that side as well. My energy used to be up and down, kind of following and chasing meals, whereas now a vegan diet is far more flatline.
To not eat animals, you know, that may be a small act, but if we all contribute to that small act, it's going to turn out to be a massive change.
The way that a person treats animals says everything you need to know about them. I couldn't fathom having anything from an animal now.
As Melanie Joy has put it, people have adapted to believing it's normal, natural, and necessary to consume animal products. The industry has sold us on this myth. We've been conditioned to it since the day we were born and are flooded with advertisement on a daily basis about it.
With all this media and hype that's around of fast foods that are out there, it's really hard to rip away from, but not impossible. The result of all that has come about. You can see it by how many hospitals have blown up. Obesity, diabetes, high blood pressure, you know, all these things are a result of what we're eating.
I honestly believe that my plant-based diet reversed my cancers. I really honestly believe that. And I believe that the blood work shows that as well.
Going vegan, you solve a lot of health problems, excluding animal proteins from your diet, diabetes, cholesterol, heart attack, whatever. Everything is reduced by a huge number, and this is medically proven. On the other hand, we have the environmental impact, because if we have less animal farms, we have less pollution and greenhouse gases, etc. Less hunger in the world, because, you know, in order to raise one cow, you spend that much grain, water, etc. And actually, this could be fed to people.
This movement is just growing and it's getting bigger and bigger, and people are so curious to find answers to some of their questions that are really bothering them.
We've reversed type 2 diabetes very quickly. And what I say is, do you want to survive or do you want to thrive? And you can have it all.
My fans will contact me and be like, I really want to try it, but I don't know if I could do this, this and this. And I'm like, just start, because people are trying to be the perfect vegan right off the bat. And if somebody's doing a meat-free Monday or whatever, you know, 2 days a week, you should be encouraging that, because the likelihood of them digging into it more and self-educating on the whole process is a lot larger than you being like, oh, why aren't you doing it every day or whatever.
This planet cannot sustain the rate of meat consumption that is going on as we speak right now. There is a consciousness shift. There is a shift in mentality in regards to health, in regards to food. The stigma of being vegan is not nearly what it was 5 years ago. I mean, it's everywhere.
If we don't see ourselves switching to those kinds of diets within that period of time, you're going to have hundreds of millions of people dying from starvation every year. I don't think that's going to happen. I think the world will change. We will top out about 10 billion people in the world. The only way to feed them is plant-based. We have enough food being grown right now to feed the 10 billion without doing any changes except moving to plant-based diets.
It's an idea that people want to work. Like they want to be able to consume burgers, hot dogs, sausage, but they'd love to do it without all of these issues, right? And so we have an obligation to do what we're doing.
I would never go back to meat. I mean, after I saw what was happening to animals and how horrible it is for the animals firstly, and then for my health, I don't see a reason why would I go back to eating meat again. There's no point. When everything I need is found in plants, I can get it from plants.
It's not sustainable the way we're doing things. We're not meant to kill that many animals per day like we are. So the only real solution for the future is reducing our meat consumption and, if possible, eliminating it completely and going plant-based.
We can turn this around in a way which helps humanity, stops the biggest cause of animal cruelty on the planet, brings back wildlife, and by eating more plants, helps to eliminate malnutrition around the world.
So, what's all this about?
Same deal as before, really.
Time as in?
We can rescue it.
You've got transport, right?
Oh, yeah, we got transport.